Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We are not only on the Mac today because I wanted to do something quick and not have to fire up my desktop, but we're also recording midday, so hopefully this ages well. And we had a lot happen in the last 2 days. I meant to make a video yesterday. I didn't get the opportunity to, just been too busy. So I wanted to make one really quick today during the day when I could. Yesterday we had some SoFi earnings, and even though they beat on both revenue and earnings, the stock actually ended, I think, close to being negative. And then I think in the after hours it then went into the negative. So really crazy. Not unusual though, I guess, for SoFi stock. And we'll talk about that. But before we do, if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing. If you want to help out the channel and learn some supplemental information on selling options and learn everything that I know when it comes to selling options, go check out the course. It's down below in the description. Helps out the channel. Really appreciate it. Something I like to do from time to time just to keep myself in a good mindset is I like to go on ChatGPT and I like to run it through a scenario when it comes to selling options on SoFi stock, specifically covered calls. And what I told it was, here's the amount of shares that I have currently, so 4,800 as it stands right now. If I want to sell covered calls at a 0.2 delta, how is that going to compound over time? And of course, this isn't going to be what actually ends up happening because things change, prices change. I might end up rolling some weeks where this doesn't predict that, and you can actually build into, your prompt here. I'm also going to account for rolling it 1 week out of 4, and it can do that for you. But just like simplified, if I sell covered calls on all of my shares at a 0.2 delta, this is what I can expect to generate. And if I reinvest it into more shares, I guess I'm looking at 7,500 shares of SoFi after a year. Is this realistic? I don't know. I just think it's really fun to do, so I thought I'd share real quick. For the month, we're looking at $4,700 in total monthly premium. By far my largest month ever when it comes to premium gained. Unfortunately, we're not going to hit $5,000 because today's the last day in April. But I'm super proud of this number. It's, like I said, by far the most. And something I ended up doing yesterday is after SoFi earnings, since we're on the topic, I ended up selling covered calls amounting to the rest of the freed up shares that I had. And I sold, it was like 7 or 8 covered calls total yesterday after earnings. And after seeing, the stock price probably wasn't going to reach $14.50 by the end of the week, I went ahead and I just sold the remaining shares that weren't tied up as covered calls. And this netted me $72 extra in premium. And as it looks right now, those are definitely going to expire worthless. We can see at $14.50, I have 17 total covered calls that I've sold. They're worth 2 cents a piece right now, and the average credit I got from them was 11 cents a piece. So if I were to buy to close them right now, I would have made total in premium $154 selling these covered calls. And that seems to be what's going to happen with the majority of the covered calls that I sold on SoFi, unless something crazy happens between now and Friday. And today we actually have Robinhood earnings, so it's going to be interesting to see how that affects some Robinhood covered calls that I've sold. Most of them expiring next week. We can see I have a 50, a 46, I even have a $41 covered call, so this will likely have to be rolled unless Robinhood tanks. So I'm going to keep an eye on that after hours, how Robinhood does. And yeah, really this week is just waiting for Friday to come. So most of my SoFi covered calls that I've sold can just expire worthless. And I can look at continuing to sell covered calls next week. So that's what's going on here. $4,700 in premium this month as things stand right now. Also continuing to sell covered calls on the SPY. And these are rolling up and out in expiration and strike price because right now they're in the money. But I'm just going to continue to do that until we reach a point where I'm no longer in the money. So yeah, really appreciate you guys watching. If you want to go check out the course, like I said, help out the channel, it's down below. It tells you everything you need to know when it comes to selling calls and how to get started and selling puts and calls, I should say, and making some income just as I'm doing here. And yeah, I hope to see you in a future video.